Hey everyone, I just thought I would give like a first quarter update to what we've been doing and how things are tracking. It's going to be pretty free form, so nothing planned, just a few notes here that I'll be going through and yeah, doing a bit of a breakdown. So I think the first thing I'm going to start with is the wargaming portion of Keystone. So at the moment we are entered into the Games Workshop's 1 million models painted competition, which isn't an individual competition, it's a worldwide competition, basically incentivizing people to go through their backlog of miniatures, which I have decided to take up. So our Sunday streams for that are pretty much taken up by that at the moment, but that will end in May, which might free me up for some other things, which we'll get to later in the breakdown. So although I didn't have pictures for the Skaven, we did our 50 Skaven the other day. And we're slowly working on the Tyrannage, which will bring us to 100 models, or 102 models, the first 50 being the Skaven, and the next 52 being the Tyranids. So I'll bring those up. So partway through painting them at the moment for that. Now at the moment, a lot of what I've been doing with that is just dumping the streams on YouTube. We'll get to that again later, but there will be a compilation of the whole thing and sort of explaining what happened during that time and what we were aiming to accomplish, and sort of make a video that's more to do with inspiring and helping people get through their backlog, rather than being like, well, this is what I managed to do in sort of a few more words than that, as well. So that's been fun. Again, it does take up a sizable chunk of time, and hopefully that time will be shifted across to other things in the future. And then actually finished it today. I did a basic tools video, which is on YouTube, and that goes through what I believe to be the absolute basic equipment that you would need for the modeling portion of building and painting miniatures. And the tools apply to, at least for wargaming, apply for those. So both metal and plastic models and resin to some extent. So that went up today. That was our first sort of proper video, excluding this, which will go up as our first quarterly video. So that kind of covers wargaming. We'll move on to D&D. It's the second portion of Keystone, which is the D&D portion. And in terms of things for that, we've got a few miniatures done. They're kind of broken down into categories. And most of it is miniature development. I still need to do stat blocks and all of that, but for the moment, we've obviously got our main character, the Keystone Guardian, that will both be part of D&D as a D&D figure, so a character that you could play or interact with in D&D, as well as a character that will be part of the I'll get to mentioning later on. And these were kind of odds. These kind of all fit into an odd category, so not really any specific category of their own. So we've got him. And then these are some old models that I will just need a little bit of touch up, but will be available as D&D miniatures. So we've got Snowman or Old Frosty, which will, again, I think it's just the scarf and a bit of the hat that needs fixing. And then he'll be ready, maybe some posing with the hands, but he'll be ready to go up as a miniature you can paint. And the last one in the oddballs category is the Mimic Christmas Tree. This is actually a little further along. I thought I had a more up-to-date picture, but I didn't. So we added along the tongue, we added some lights, little light bulbs. And again, apart from a little bit of touch-up, another miniature to go out for production. So miniatures that fall into the mimic category. These are a range of mimics that for the most part you can already kind of get miniatures for, but I wanted to do my own spin on them. So two that don't have physical models at the moment are the barrel mimic, which I've finished and is actually, I think I've already made the print file for. And then the vase as well, or urn, whichever way you want to look at that. And then the final one, which I'll just grab these, which is our treasure chest mimic. And we actually have printed this. So printed and painted. Camera's not gonna like that. So one of the mimics done, which is really good. Really happy about how that one turned out as well. We'll switch over to the final one, and again, these are older models that I am slowly updating as well. And these are part of the cryptids collection. So we have the Jersey Devil, whose stat sheet I believe is done as well. It just needs to be formatted into my own theme with the keystone, with blues and everything like that. This one, next one is called Hodag. It's a lot better than what it was when I first revisited this. We added some fur, we've got more spikes, better proportions. It looks like it's missing bits and pieces, but it's just to do with not duplicating those just yet. And then the last one, which is a fan creation of a character called the Boston Baked Bean Boy, or BBB. And he's a bit of a strange character. So that's what he looks like. And again, very strange character, but a creepy cryptid, as it were. And that covers our miniatures for for all of the D&D miniatures. In terms of what we need to do, still need to do stat sheets for a lot of them. and posing for a lot of them as well. Posing being the hardest part of making these miniatures, but they are coming along. I'm going to move on to Archgate now. So Archgate is the possible but still working title for the board game that I'm working on. And there's quite a bit to go through on that as well. We've got some very basic props that will be used to fill areas on smaller bits of terrain. A lot of these are still work in progress. So we've got an anvil, still work in progress, a barrel, a crate, a crucible, and then deep mushrooms and crystals. In terms of miniatures for the game, we have the first set of miniatures, which are moles. So we've got our foreman, who is mostly posed, and then once I get around to finishing the weapon, and there's actually a tail with a bell that needs to be posed as well, he'll be close to done. Most of what needs to be done on him is refinement as well. We've got the mole miner, or the base unit for the first wave of miniatures. Again, a lot of the symmetry still needs to be completed, which is a few clicks. There was a bit of redesign on him, so he's a bit of a mess at the moment, but definitely coming along. The one miniature that we have finished, which is the this guy's called the Crucible Holder or Carrier. He's one of the elite units for the game. So he is done, or at least 99% done. I just need to do the tail, maybe some work on the tail. And then the boss, which is this lava worm, which is our third miniature that we have done, which is here. I'm still painting at the moment, but comes as, let me just bring the camera back up, 2 parts for the actual body and tail. Still being painted. And then the bases, so the body's base and the tail's base. Where's the camera? There we go. So that is one of the complete models. And then probably some of the other stuff that you saw is terrain. So we've got a pulley system that will be used as terrain, mostly done, just a little bit of detail to be done, and then the rope in the middle needs to be complete. And our watchtower, which is again a 99% complete model. I'm just going to put something up on this square block that's sitting at the top so that it can be used as a cover system for the miniatures, and the ladder will be a separate model, will not be attached to the watchtower. Personally, it would have been really good to get a lot of these miniatures actually done and printed in the first 3 months. A few hiccups along the way, learning how to pose things, which is fine, but really happy with how things are going with that. In terms of, let's see, what else do I have here? In terms of the game itself, I won't bring it up, but we are currently at 11 pages of rules that are written out. The majority of the player rules, with the exception of abilities, which sounds like a big portion of the game, but the abilities are character based, and I haven't done any character specific stuff yet. It's been general rules at the moment. But all the player rules for the start are done, and I've done some of the GM's rules as well, probably about 5 or 10% of them. So that's coming along. It's definitely something that I want to focus more on as well. And then the last thing to sum up at the moment for this portion is the website, which I finished today, with the exception of the store. So that won't go live just yet. I'll work out the store and how that works, and work out some pricings and things like that. And then once I have at least say 3 or 4 things that I can actually confidently put up that have both the models for printing and the rule sets as well, at least the D&D rule sets, that will go live. So again, something that I don't want to show right now, but something that has been worked on. So overall, from the projects that I've been working on the last 3 months, I'd give myself a satisfactory on the level of completion. It does sound like a lot hasn't been complete, but to be fair, there are a lot of multiple points that we have been working on. I did forget one last thing. We have our first player character as well. This is a reproportioned picture of what we have currently made, and the chainmail on here is just as a indicator of where chainmail will sit on the character. It's not the finished thing. So again, a very work in progress picture. And there's a lot of details that definitely need to be cleaned up, but overall, definitely liking the design and how this character will look. And this part down the bottom is the handle of the sword, and I have done the shield as well. There's a lot of design to go onto the torso here, and the actual chainmail needs to be fit in place. I would probably call this model about 65% done. But as I said, I think we'll get to the summary at the end. But I'll leave him up now for the moment. Then the next thing I wanted to kind of share is the socials, the social media portion. At the moment, really happy with how that's going, considering I'm not actually using it that much. I've been streaming the process on Twitch and do find that I get a lot more viewers for the painting than I do for the 3D arts, which is one because of the popularity of painting Warhammer over 3D art, and 2 because no one knows what the project is, so there's no investment in that at all. But having said that, we've got about 25 followers at the moment. We're underutilizing Instagram at the moment. Basically just been posting pictures. We'll hopefully get back into doing more video stuff as well. And then the part I'm really proud of at the moment is the Discord channel. Currently sitting at, I think, 10 members if I counted correctly, not including myself twice, because I have myself as the owner and myself as an admin in there as well as separate accounts, one to test things and one to run the Discord. But we've had for the amount of people, we've had some really nice posts. So people posting up their 3D work, a lot of miniature posting as well, which is good to see. Again, just inspirational community showing off what they've been working on, and I think without them, and even the people that didn't join the Discord and just followed on Twitch or even just came through, it sort of boosts what's the word, boosts positivity and enjoyment, and sort of gives me a purpose. Not a purpose. The purpose is for me. This whole thing is my project, but it makes it feel like there is some engagement and some interest in what I'm doing. So again, really, really happy with how that's going as well. And then YouTube, it's basically been a place where I've been dumping streams, a few subscribers, which is nice, but again, we'll speak about the future stuff for that in a second. But more videos to come with that. With personal stuff, the main personal thing is trying to build connections and not relationships, kind of relationships, but just kind of getting to know people at a local game store in the city, which has been nice. Struggling a little bit with that, but it's been good to see and sort of talk to people about what they're painting, getting inspiration, trying to go to events. We've got an event coming up. Well, I'm going to an event coming up, and we'll make a bit of a content piece about it as well, for what's called a combat patrol challenge, which is, I think, a month or 2 month long project to get new people into Warhammer. So I'm going to use that as an opportunity to hopefully meet some people, build some miniatures, try a new type of painting that I want to do, build something new, make content, get ideas, learn some rules for the games, implement that, or not implement that, but see if there's any of those rules that sort of fit into Archgate, and see if I can implement something similar, or if there are things that I don't like about the combat patrol rule sets or the Warhammer rule sets, making sure that they're not implemented into Archgate as well. And then just growing the communities and seeing what other people are doing, because I think that's as interesting as what I'm trying to do. So yeah, it's been fun, and to sort of put myself out there a bit more, even if it's slowly to start with. But it's been good. I think the next part, the part that most people don't talk about when they do projects, but it's the sacrifices or the difficult times. A lot of sacrifices, especially with hanging out with friends and family. still obviously see my parents when I can, although it's been for shorter amounts, not staying over as often, and just doing sort of day things so that I can fit more things in during the weekends as well. That includes kind of missing, events like personal events. I gave up 2 D&D groups to start this, so missing both of them, both the one in the city and the other group that travel out to one of the suburbs to play. So missing the people, obviously, from both those groups. Missing playing the characters, missing the stories and narratives that came along with that, and just catching up with people in general. And then the third thing, which I think a lot of people probably know, is that just struggling a bit with fitting this in around work as well. And just not knowing at the moment what I'm wanting to do with work. So in a bit of a daily loop with that. But there might be some things that are changing shortly with that. That'll give me a bit more time to what's the words? Work from home, so that I can be home immediately after work and get into project stuff, or at least use half the amount of time that it takes to travel home. And the travel home's not long, but use part of that time instead to wind down, instead of traveling home, then winding down, and then making dinner and getting ready to either stream or do some work on the side as well. But yeah, I think it's difficult at times, but it's kind of just what you have to do to get, put out a project, something as big as a board game. So yeah, but let's we'll move on to something a little more upbeat. Yeah, so the last thing I want to talk about is about the future. Some things that I think I definitely need to do a little more of. First off is drawing. I often find that if I'm wanting to move on to another portion of the modeling, or even drawing for character sheets or data sheets for D&D, I don't implement that enough into what I'm doing. So using the time that I'm not streaming to do some drawing, I think, will be important. And that kind of goes the same with the writing. Although the rules are coming along quite well, I think there needs to be more time for writing, but also writing, I have no lore writing, which isn't technically necessary, but I think it'll help sort of fit the theme for what I'm trying to do. So both drawing, both digital pencil drawing and writing, or computer on the computer. The initial goal as well was to try and get a play test done by 6 months. If we can get that, that'll be great. And that might still only be a rules-based playtest. And what I mean by that is using, miniatures from other games as what they call proxies, or approximate miniatures for the game. Obviously using the ones that we already have printed as much as we can, and doing private testing, and then seeing if we can make that a public thing by the end of the year. What's that? Oh, and then in terms of content, as I said, most of the content that we're doing is just dumping streams on YouTube, which is not the most interesting. So doing some more individual content, which kind of goes back into the writing as well. So writing scripts, writing ideas, drawing, what are they called? Animatics, sort of the storyboards. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, storyboards. Planning out things. Like there are a heap of videos that I want to do. There's a heap of projects that I have that I want to include. A lot of it being the war, a lot of it being the war gaming stuff. But that's probably because that's going to be easiest based on current hobbies. But also thinking of things to do on the D&D side of things as well, because Keystone's not just Archgate. Keystone is all tabletop games, and the two main ones that I have been involved in and I know the most about are wargaming, mostly the Warhammer stuff, and D&D, which could be, traditionally is just like, the standard 5e or Pathfinder, but there are other games within that I have interest in and would like to do content for as well. So I think that's the main focus is at the moment, because the miniatures are coming along. The drawing and writing is falling behind, so I think they will be the priorities for next month as well, especially to get that playtest, and not a playtest within this last 6 months, but starting play tests in the 6 months going into the end of into the middle of the year, or the second half of the year. But yeah, I think that'll be it for the sort of like future things as well. And then lastly, I think just touch on support. Obviously, if you were wanting to join things like Discord, the Twitch, follow on Instagram, follow on YouTube, absolutely fine. For people who are finding this, who I don't know personally, who want to join those communities, please do. Share your projects, share your painting, share your modeling. We'll add more categories to the Discord if people want them. It's very sparse at the moment, but again, those things can be improved. For family and friends, support can be just as much as sending a message. I know messages go both ways, and it's something that I struggle with anyway. But just say hi, see how things are going, and hopefully for those that I would normally have more regular, contact, catch up with, once we get to the playtests, hopefully I can ease off a little bit and start just producing the content. But for the moment, I think at least for the next 3 months, it's probably going to be more of the same. But that's not to say that I don't miss people, and miss spending time with people, or at least more people than I currently see. So yeah, as I said, just a message or something like that would be good. But thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening to my ramble. Thanks for listening to the first quarter breakdown of Keystone Tabletop Gaming. And yeah, I'll keep people updated. We've got the website to look forward to once that's sort of authorized. There's some business stuff to sort out with that as well. Obviously, wonderful community on Discord that are posting and showing off what they're working on. A few what did I mention before? The events, combat patrol events, and hopefully getting to know more people at the local game store, and even offering, because they actually do a painting night, even offering up a miniature that they could use to paint might be an option as well, which means that I'll probably need to make some business cards actually. But yeah, as I said, thank you if you got this far, thank you for listening. Hopefully it's given a bit more insight into what I'm actually working on. And I will probably end up doing a non-rules specific demonstration of what the Archgate game will look like. And although that sounds very confusing, it will be a generalization of how the game will run, and what to kind of like expect sort of rules wise as well in sort of a general term, so as not to sort of not so much to give away rules, but to say that this is how something will work, and then find out that during playtest that's not how it's going to work. So keeping a general version of that, I think, will be good, which will be one of the videos to come soon. Yeah, again, probably for the third or fourth time, thank you for watching. I hope everyone's doing well. Enjoy your hobbies, enjoy your D&D campaigns, and I will catch you all soon. All right, cheers.